Welcome to the Block and Nickel Podcast, where we talk about finances for now and how to stay rich forever. I am your moderator, Donnell. Special shout out to Block Boy. Damn, I love that song.
Thank you for having me back. Last week we talked about money management and developing those skills to become a more successful person, financially successful, using your money management skills to become financially successful. Well, I want to touch on a concept today called the circle of competence. Now, this term was coined by Warren Buffett many years ago. And basically what he said was, while investing in the stock market, he sticks to things that he knows, hence the word competence. So he never deviates out of that circle of competence. Now, we all know things that other people don't, or we all have passions that other people don't have, that the rest of the world don't have. And this is something that I want to discuss. You see, we are all human, and to be human is to be complicated. We're all complicated people. Nothing is simple, and we are all wired differently. Everyone is wired differently. You have some people who can sit in front of math problems, stare at them, work on them, and time will fly by because they love it. What do you love? What do you love? Oftentimes, the things that we say we love, we just like them a lot. We enjoy it, or we enjoy the idea of it, but we don't love it. We don't love it enough to do it for 100 hours a week for free. When you love something and it is your passion and you are wired that way, you can do it forever. Time just flies by. Weeks fly by. Months fly by. Years fly by. And you look back, you say, damn, I spent that much time doing that. Yes, you did. You spent that much time doing it. We all have multiple interests. Be true to your interests and follow them. Now, what does that have to do with investing, making money, becoming a better person, developing professionally? It has everything to do with it. It has everything to do with it. Developing your competence, refining your circle of competence has everything to do with your success. It has everything to do with your finances. You see, when you work longer, you become better at that task. The more you do that task, the easier it becomes. To certain people, tasks are worth a finite amount of capital. So if one of these tasks happen to fall in your circle of competence, you'll find yourself in a position where you can make a lot of money doing something that you love, because it's not that it's easy. I want to get that back to it again. It's not easy. You just love doing it. Time flies by when you are doing it. Some people like to tinker. Tinker. Some people like to fix things, and they could work on that thing forever. They look up, an hour has passed. They're still doing it. They look up, 2 hours have passed. Still doing it. Time flies by. They feel like they never have enough time when they're doing these type of tasks. So I don't want to get too far into the abstracts. I want to hone in on why refining your circle of competence is a key ingredient into becoming financially successful. Refining your circle of competence means that you are sticking to the script. Now, in my walks of life, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen people who jump around. Every other year, they're doing something different. Every other year, they are doing something different. And I've seen some people stay the course. Now, I've seen some people stay the course and never progress. Although they are staying the course, they are stagnant at what they are doing. And they have not elevated at any point. I've seen some people jump around and have mild to temporary success. You see, to me, both of those scenarios are unfavorable, because what we are looking for is generational wealth. We are doing this to build generational wealth. So temporary is not in the cards. Temporary is not in the cards. So how do we refine our circle of competence so we can allow ourselves the freedom to stick to the script without becoming a slave to the work? How do we allow ourselves to refine our circle of competence so that we do not become slaves to the work? You got to ask yourself. You got to do the iPod test. Now, the iPod test is funny because oftentimes I ask myself, I say, oh, XYZ is my favorite rapper. By the way, rap is my favorite genre. Hip-hop. I love hip-hop. Anybody who you know, they'll tell you, this guy listens to hip-hop all day, every day, all types, all genres, all years, everywhere. That's my thing. All subsets of hip-hop. I love hip-hop. Underground pop, it doesn't matter. I love it. So, but I'll ask myself, let's say, who's your favorite artist? Who is your favorite artist? Off the top of my head, I might fire out some obscure name. I might say Lil Wayne. Or something like that. Some obscure name like Inspector Deck or Lil Wayne, right? But when I look at my podcast, when I look at my iPod, when I check my Spotify and everything else, that's not telling me that Lil Wayne is my favorite artist. It's telling me Trick Daddy is my favorite artist. Why? Because I'm listening to that all the time. I got all his albums. I have more of that than anything. See, What happens is I fall in love with the idea of Lil Wayne being my favorite rapper. But he isn't. None of these scenarios are true. Trick Daddy is not my favorite artist either, but I just threw it out there. See, because I wanted to put the point out there to show that we might fall in love with the idea of something, but that may not be the reality. So when developing your circle of competence, you have to look at it from a real perspective. And that in itself requires a talent. Sometimes you may have to ask your friends. You see, I know my friends. I know they observe things about me that I may not observe myself. And there's certain ones that I come to and I ask them, I say, hey man, what do you see me doing? What could you see me doing? Because they may have a better idea. And these are close friends, people who knew you forever. Ask your mom. Ask your father. Ask your grandma. Ask your close friends that really know you. Ask them what kind of career they could see you in. And then you match that up with, is that something you really do? Ask, is that something you could really do? Because 9 times out of 10, they see what you do on a regular basis. You don't. Because you're in it. You're doing it. But they're from the outside looking in, just observing. They see it. So that is how you refine your circle of competence. Now, how in the world does that connect to making money and investing? Well, it's simple. Whether you have a job or you don't have a job, the key to successfully investing is to making a lot of money, income. People with higher income, people who have a higher income have more disposable income to invest. People with low income don't. So if you want to make more, if you want to invest more money, you make more money. And it's not as simple as going to your boss and saying, hey boss, I think I deserve to make $20,000 more, $50,000 more than I'm making right now, because I want to make it. See, that's where you get the game twisted and screwed up. You have to be worth that. They have to see the value in that. You have to create the value in that. Doing things to show them that you're worth that amount of money. Because that's how it works out here, man. You get what you're worth. You get what you are worth. And sometimes you may not make what you're worth. And that's called paying dues. We all have to pay dues. I pay dues. Everybody pays dues. But while you are paying dues, you have to develop yourself to the point where people know that you are efficient and you can do the job and they can count on you. Luckily for me, I'm doing what I love to do for a living. So all I do now is make sure that I am much more credible at this position. I make sure that I have the skills to become a top tier person at this position. But I'm in the field that I want to be in. I love what I'm doing. This is my circle of competence. What is yours? If it isn't, you need to find it. And you don't have to change industries. You might have to change a department that you're in, but you don't have to change industries, and you might not even have to leave your job. You just may need to take on a new role at that job. Develop your circle of competence. Refine your circle of competence. And then apply that. Refine your circle of competence and then apply it to your everyday. You see, that's how you pull yourself up by your bootstraps. This is the Block and Nickel Money Party. Thank you.